Hello, guys. Welcome to another episode of Kridious Cafe on this beautiful Sunday. And we're going to be talking about science fiction again, sci-fi, sci-fi, or whatever your friends or family might deem it to be. A lot of us often patronize science fiction as a mere figment of imagination or something that at least emerges from it. However, science fiction has a lot many times proven that it not just predicts a future that is a far reality from today. It also depicts something that is going to be an imminent realization in the coming days. And today we're going to be discussing five Hollywood movies that predicted or rather depicted a future that's going to be an imminent reality. And here we go. The first technology that we're all going to be talking about is something that's not very conspicuous. However, it irritates the hell out of me, and I'm sure a lot of you as well. Back in the day, oftentimes when we used to search for something on a search engine, maybe a product or a service, the advertisement for same or similar products or services used to appear on the other websites that we visited, like social media or any other thing that you might be visiting back in the day. I'll not go into the details. Nowadays, even what we speak or what we talk about to our friends and family, sometimes you open your phone back again and you're like, a European vacation suggestion? I was just talking about that to my wife, and it's giving me an ad from MakeMyTrip or Booking.com for some tour package, right? It has gotten even worse and rather mind-boggling in the recent times, where it seems like my phone is showing me products or services that I'm just thinking about, not even communicating verbally or in text form to anyone. And this is possible because of the immense amount of backlog of data that has been collected over the years from your search engines, your computers, desktops, laptops, tablets, smartphones, smartware, and now even smart home devices. A lot of companies utilize this data to perform predictive and prescriptive analytics or a behavioral pattern analysis to maybe suggest your product or service or assign your credit score or check your loan eligibility, etc. But a similar behavioral pattern analysis, a prescriptive and predictive analytics scenario was shown in a 2002 movie, one of my favorite science fiction movies, Minority Report. The movie showed a system called as pre-crime, something that predicts based on your prior behavioral patterns, your history of records, or whatever your personality might have been throughout the years. It predicts whether you're going to commit a crime or not based on some probability metrics. Where that movie Hyperboles is actually assigning guilt based on that probability. Basically, somebody can be rendered guilty just by the fact that they are highly probable to commit a crime in the future, just as you're all guilty of purchasing those weird and useless products from social media. Coming to the next technology. In today's world, we are all too much reliant on these GPTs, these AI chatbots and chat engines for our day-to-day lifestyle and decision-making, aren't we? I can't even imagine going on a trip without running a prompt through ChatGPT first, understanding the pros and cons of where to visit, when to visit, how to visit, what to wear even, and the day-to-day itinerary planning. Everything is done over these pre-trained transformers. Is it safe to say that as we are actively reliant on them, they are passively influencing our decision-making? And this was shown in the movie Ex Machina, which not just answered the question, can artificial intelligence think, but also dwelled in the territory of, can it persuade us to think a way that it wants us to think? Basically, manipulation, yes. Manipulation is persuasion without awareness. Today, we are merely relying on them for our cognitive decision-making. Maybe tomorrow, in a dystopian future, we'll be relying on them for our reasoning. Maybe some of you have realized that dystopian future already. Next, we come to your favorite topic of the day, Instagram Reels, YouTube Shorts, or the banned social media application in India, TikTok. These platforms made us realize something. Trends decide the world. Trends decide how humans behave, how humans perceive information, how humans perceive products, services, or their need of them. And it's not these human beings who are creating these trends. It's actually an algorithm which is running behind the scenes. This algorithm sees patterns, potential in content or in keywords, hashtags. And based on that, it manufactures a trend. It not just makes you like and interact with that particular post, but makes you want to create something similar as well. Makes you want to maybe travel, spend lakhs and lakhs of rupees and travel to that destination in Europe to click that selfie on that hotspot that has been trending. Makes you want to do that hook step regardless of how vulgar it might seem to others, just for the sake of engagement, right? They are implanting an idea in our subconscious that we cannot gain access to, that we cannot manipulate ourselves. It's making us think the way it wants us to think, similar to technology number 2. And if we have come to ideas being implanted in the subconscious, there's definitely one movie that we need to talk about. Yes, you've guessed it right. And that movie, my friends, is Houseful 5. I'm just kidding. Guilty here. Well, that's one movie that I want uprooted from my imagination, subconscious, memory, existence, and human history altogether. Coming to the real movie, it's actually the cinematic wonder created by Christopher Nolan called as Inception. The difference that you might be pointing towards is that these folks in the movie were using this high-tech technology to tap into the dreams of their subjects and go into their first level or second level dreams and implant an idea. And that idea materializes in their consciousness via their subconscious, right? Isn't this something that's happening via our smartphones nowadays? Maybe those bulky technologies are not required anymore, and our smartphones and that algorithm is more than enough to manipulate us, to do great stuff or sometimes stuff that's quite weird. Next, again, we're going to be covering artificial intelligence chatbots and decision-making systems, which are near autonomous nowadays. You've noticed how recently these technologies have become more objective and human-sounding, rational, if I may say so. This is luring more and more of us to engage with these technologies with just the familiarity and the comfort of interacting with them, since they are human-like. Human beings are inclining more and more towards logic over emotion. And as machines are sounding more and more logical with the passing time, we are tending towards them and feeling more comfortable with them. A similar machine algorithm was shown in the movie 2001: A Space Odyssey, released in 1968. HAL 9000, if you all remember. It was an autonomous system. It never malfunctioned violently, did it? It rather chose calm over calamity. It chose logic over emotion. Rather, in its own words, logic over empathy. It doesn't feel evil, it just feels correct. We are relying so heavily nowadays on logic systems for our investments, for optimizing our logistics, for overriding even human inputs and replacing human jobs. We're reliant on logic and logic-based technologies and algorithms. The last technology that we are going to be talking about is metaverses. And not just metaverses. The idea of us all living in some kind of a metaverse or some kind of a matrix. What Matrix showed us back in the day was something unimaginable. Nobody could have thought of such a wild idea, right? That the universe that we are living in is actually a simulation. Today, we don't just have augmented reality or virtual reality, but we're also dealing with something called as artificial reality, these metaverses and freeverses where we can roam around and do whatever we want. A lot of what Matrix showed us has turned out to be accurate now. Metaverses which are very similar to the reality, right? And we can roam around, we can meet our friends who are thousands of kilometers away in the real world. We can meet them virtually in these games and metaverses. Yes, the movie did extrapolate into some fictitious territories by showing that robots have won the war and already taken over the world and are controlling human beings and eating babies and whatnot. But was it fiction? Says not the last glitch that you noted in The Matrix, does it? So these were the 5 movies today, and drop down in the comments which movie you liked the most or which technology or fact that you liked the most. And I'll see you in the next one. Kridious checks out.
रुको! एक मिनट, इधर आओ।